So it's time to get the paints out again. I've just tidied this palette up and these paints up, and used my technique for reinvigorating them after a time stuck out in the car in quite cold weather. So they're all ready to go. And we're going to have a look in the sketchbook and see what we've got in there and what we can paint. It's a cold day. We're not going to go outside, so we're going to have a look and see the types of things that we might do. So we're going to flick through it. So just flicking through some of the sketches, upside down, some of them, back to front, all the way around. Let's look, see what we fancy. As I haven't painted in a while, I'm going to do something quite straightforward and simple. Notice I've got all of my notes for various. So that one says near Ely Station, 6:25 AM, calm, water, misty in the distance. So that might be quite nice, that one. Yeah, I think we'll have a go at that. So we'll use that one, nice and simple. So that will be our sketch that we're going to use as our source material. Okay, let's get to it. Apart from sorting out my paints, I've also been sorting through my brushes, and we're going to make sure that we're only using a few brushes today, but just wanted to show you these and see if we can reinvigorate some of them. So this squirrel mop brush here, as you can see, so look, it's not too bad, quite stiff, but in some water that won't take very long at all to bring up to speed. So I'm going to choose some brushes and then we'll get painting. So as we said, here's a sketch. See how this works out, but really simple, as you can see, very simple, and that's going to be our source. So I'll pop that over here so I can see this. Hopefully it'll stand up. There we go. Get rid of the pencil, bring in the paints, start with the sky in the foreground and just get an initial first stage wash in. So one of the things I like to do in lots of my paintings is to get in what we call an undercoating. I'm going to spray this up because it said it was misty, so I've got this spray bottle here. It's not too mad. This will create some nice effects going down. And we'll just get this in as quick as possible without fuss. Just add a little bit of water to the mixture that's there. This mixture, quite runny as you can see. As we come down closer to the foreground, we're going to get darker. And we'll run the same kind of principle on here, but for the moment, just gonna underpaint that. And that really, just take a bit more liquid there, a bit of dry brush, quite like that. I'll leave that coming through, and that's got to dry. So that's stage one done. Quick, wasn't it? So while this is still wet, I'm just going to take this number 12 round brush. There we go, number 12 round brush, and across the horizon here, I'm just gonna add in a touch of ultramarine blue. So we're going to take this ultramarine blue, kind of straight in with the mixture, so it's going to be a greeny sort of blue. Notice where I'm holding the paintbrush, because we're doing impressionistic style. I'm not going to be tight near the tip. We're going all the way back down as far as we can. And I just want to get this in because we said it was going to be, you know, a misty day, and we want this to bleed and blend in and mix. So that's what we're going to do. So these passages, not really thought about too much. It's more of an expression and getting them in. And while we're there, we're thinking a little bit about reflections that might be coming in here. So we'll just pop those in at the same time. Just soften that down. It's brilliant. Okay. It's just clear water in there. Just want to soften that edge off. Okay, and that's blending nicely there. You can see the granulation going on. You can see it feeding down and just letting the water do what the water does, which is to run and blend and bleed. And it's going to create that sort of misty morning effect. So just wanted to show you that one, and that's it. We'll go into the next stage. Now the magic of watercolour is we just let it do its own thing, really. And that's where you can see all the blending and bleeding going on. That's really good. So that's the soft, misty kind of aspects. Sky very light. We don't want to be putting in too much into the sky. Less is more. You've heard that saying before, no doubt. It really is. I'm just going to tidy this bit up with some clear liquid. I can just run off there. So in a way, it's a waiting game. Now, if I start to paint into this and get impatient, which is what lots of beginners do, they'll get impatient, oh, I'll get stuck in. I'm going to live to regret it, because this is all wet. So as soon as I try to put in some straight lines of any masts or even the trees and so on, it will just blur. And we don't want that effect for this. So I have to be really patient and wait for all of this to dry off. Now, one way to do that is to take the back of your finger and just gently on the back of your finger tap in one area. That's actually quite dry here, but you can still see where it's wet. So we're still going to have a little bit of patience. So say 80% of my paintings are outside, and in nature things tend to dry quickly unless you've got a really, really damp, humid day. And today is very cold outside, so I'm painting inside. And the drying is actually not going too bad. And we'll get back to this in a second and start to put in a bit more detail. So we're pretty dry. I just tested this with the back of my hand and finger, and it's all dry. Now going on to a number 2, a Skoda brush. You can see that there, quite fine brush. Again, I'm going to resist the urge to go in close to the tip. I'm going to go all the way along this shaft to the end, and we're going to go for some raw burnt umber rather. You can see that mixture there. You can see it's just sort of in between wet and dry, as they say. And then we're going to, hopefully you can see this, just straight in once. So you can see I'm practicing down the stroke before I come in. So practicing down the stroke, down, practice, down before I commit, and then commit. So there, let's just see that dryness coming in. And we've just got a little suggestion of other boats and things in there. And that really is it for that. I don't want to be putting in too much, he says, floating around. So there we go. Get rid of that. Now I'm going to go into the number 6, a Skoda, and slightly fuller and start to put into some of the detail. Now, we didn't talk about focal points earlier, but we did really need to, and in my mind, we have it. So you want the eye to go in a certain place first. So you want your lightest lights and your darkest darks in that spot. So we're going to sort of head the eye around here somewhere. So I'm just going to pop in the suggestion, notice I've gone in close now because I've gone in detail, of some of these windows. So we want the eye to be coming around here and pushing down. Now, we said earlier about less is more, and that is really, really important with all these types. So we're not going to mess about too much with this.